His excuses started piling up, so I decided to drive by his workplace. When his car was nowhere to be found, I knew something was terribly wrong. Hi all, I need to share something that's been weighing heavily on me. I'm a 34-year-old woman, and I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend M36 for 3 years. We've had our ups and downs, like any couple, but lately things have taken a strange turn, and I need some advice on how to proceed. Let me start from the beginning. Our relationship has always been built on trust. We both have demanding jobs. I'm a marketing manager, and he's a software developer. A few months ago, he started coming home late more often than usual. At first, I didn't think much of it. I understand the pressures of a demanding job, but then these late-night work sessions became more regular, and I started to feel uneasy. He would come home tired, his excuses piling up about how he had to stay late to finish a project or help a colleague. I tried to be supportive, but something just didn't sit right with me. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I shared my concerns with my best friend, F33. She suggested that I look for more concrete evidence before confronting him. I decided to drive by his workplace one evening to see if his car was there, hoping to find reassurance. The night I decided to check, I felt a knot in my stomach. His office is about a 20-minute drive from our apartment. I arrived around 9 p.m., expecting to see his car in the parking lot. To my surprise, the parking lot was nearly empty, and his car was nowhere to be found. I waited for a while, hoping he might come back from a break or a quick errand, but he never showed up. The next day, I tried to act casual and asked him about his work. He mentioned a big project that required him to stay late. I decided to do some digging. I checked his company's website and social media, looking for any mention of such a project. There was nothing. No big announcements, no deadlines, no new clients. It didn't add up. Feeling more suspicious, I decided to follow him one evening. It felt wrong, but I needed to know the truth. I waited until he left for work and then trailed him at a safe distance. Instead of heading to his office, he drove to a trendy restaurant on the other side of town. I parked a little way down the street and watched as he went inside. To my shock, he wasn't alone. He met up with a younger coworker, M29. They seemed to be discussing something serious. I was confused. Was this a work meeting? If so, why the secrecy? I felt a mix of emotions, betrayal, anger, sadness. I took a few photos and left. That night, I couldn't bring myself to confront him. I needed more information. The next day, I met up with my best friend again and showed her the photos. She was as shocked as I was, but then she dropped a bombshell. She had seen my boyfriend on a dating app. I felt my world crumble around me. It was one thing to suspect he was lying about work, but to find out he might be seeing someone else was devastating. I decided I couldn't wait any longer. That night, I confronted him. I asked why he was at the restaurant instead of working late. He stumbled over his words, finally admitting that he was mentoring the younger coworker on personal matters, which he found difficult to discuss at work. I wasn't convinced. I asked him about the dating app. His reaction was one of genuine shock, and he denied it vehemently. He claimed someone must have used his photos without his permission. I didn't know what to believe. The trust we had built over 3 years was shattered. I decided to take a break from the relationship to clear my mind and assess the situation. During this break, I discovered more inconsistencies in his stories. He claimed to be at work, but I found receipts from restaurants and bars. He said he was with colleagues, but his colleagues' social media showed them elsewhere. The more I dug, the more lies I uncovered. I realized I couldn't trust him anymore. In the end, I decided to end the relationship. The foundation of trust had been irreparably damaged. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, but I knew it was the right one for my own well-being. Now, I'm reaching out to you all for advice on how to cope with the end of a long-term relationship, especially when trust is broken. Have any of you experienced similar situations? How did you manage to move on and rebuild your life? Any advice or words of encouragement would be greatly appreciated.